We had 65 folks sign up for the Zoom call today for our Zoom painting party. And okay, so now everybody has to show me what they're drinking. Is anybody drinking water? Because I have both.
Oh,
Cool water. I like water, folks. This was left over from dinner. Cool. Okay. So we're about 7:01. Annie, do you want to get started or do you want to wait a few more minutes?
no, I can go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna turn on the spotlight.
Yeah. There she is.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to tonight. So what I'm going to talk about and show tonight is it's not going to be a paint along because it's a lot of steps that need to dry in between. So what I thought I would show you is how I am creating my new backgrounds in my seagull paintings. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one up. This is a seagull painting. I think I did this in an art chat and create with you, Linda,
I think so. Yeah, I
last
remember the
year
guy.
or the year before. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
this online. So
Hmm.
this is a demo, and this I was doing a much simpler background, just some splashes of color and some blooms. And here's, whoops, let me take the tag off that one. Here's another one from
You just won on
very
that one, didn't you?
recent. Huh?
Didn't that one just win?
It just got accepted today.
Yeah.
I got the notification. This is going to the
Beautiful.
Georgia International Show.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. But again, so this has been good for me, this background of assorted colors and muted and abstract and splashing colors and splashing water and creating balloons and blowing through a straw to make things move around and just different things. It's been good for me. It's been getting into shows. It has been successful, but I decided to branch out and do something new with my backgrounds. So this is the one that it hasn't been in the show yet, but this is one of my new series that I did just recently, last summer. And I did enter this in NWS, and of course it got rejected because that's what I do. I collect rejection letters from NWS. Oh, thanks, Candace. But you see, I'm doing something new with the background, some
Hmm.
patterns. People have asked and said, "Oh, that's bubble wrap, isn't it?" No, it's not. I tried bubble wrap. It didn't really do what I wanted to do. So I did some darks and some lights and some various repeated patterns. And I felt that I'm really going somewhere with that.
Okay. If anyone has any quotes, sorry, Annie.
Oh,
If
yeah.
anybody has any questions or anything, you can open up the chat and type them in there, and we'll get those
Oh,
questions
yeah,
to
please
Annie.
do. Yeah, ask questions if you want. So here's another one that I did. Again, some patterns in the background. And I think this is the one I did try bubble wrap. Okay. And some other things for patterns, and then some splashes. And then I started thinking, I got to try some different patterns. So here's another one. Oops, there's a tag on that one too.
I was going to ask about that.
Okay. When I enter a show with a painting to make sure that I don't screw up and enter that painting another show, I put a sticky on it right away, reserved for
There you go.
TWSA. So I don't enter it anywhere else. It's already been entered. I'm waiting to hear the jury results. I'm sorry, I'm waiting to get my rejection letter. But in the meantime, I want to
Like the
make sure
rest
I
of
don't
us.
enter it somewhere else. So everything gets as soon as it gets entered, it gets a sticky on it so I don't mess up. But yeah, so here I am again with the patterns. And you can see the pattern isn't the same everywhere. So I'm using different things in that I find. And stenciling, I'm stamping, I'm lifting, all different things to make these different patterns. So I'm still doing the seagulls. This one I just did, finished it yesterday.
Hmm.
So
Cool.
I'm getting a little bit bold as of yesterday with my patterns. You can see some different objects that I pulled out and different things that I'm using for patterns. And it really, I feel like it gives up my paintings, my seagulls, a new dimension. I'm growing, not painting the same thing. I did this one last week. I think I finished it. Different patterns, some lifting, and I added some, you can't really see it too well, but these light squares are iridescent watercolors.
Oh, so they'll glow for a specific
Iridescent metallics,
metallics.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, metallics. And just finished that one this last weekend. I'm calling this one circling
cool, cool.
because I put the background in with my patterns, and then when I got done with it, I looked at it, I thought, okay, it's still too static. I didn't have enough value change in my composition, not so much the birds, but I mean the composition. It was the same value here as it was here and here, the background. It wasn't, it was a static background. The patterns were all the same size, same repeat. So that's when I went back and I lifted these circles on top of what I already painted to add another layer of abstraction to it. So that is what I'm going to show today. So I'm going to switch cameras and show you what I'm going to work on now. I have three paintings in stages because when I do this, when I put the first layer on and then I lay my things that I'm going to stamp and stencil, and lay them on top of the wet paint and let them make these patterns, it takes a long time to dry. It has to dry overnight. And I had to put books on it to weigh it down and anything, my laptop, everything in the studio that's heavy, I lay on top this stuff to weigh it down because the paper buckles because it's wet. So then I have to let it dry overnight and then the next day I can pull it back out, take everything off, see how it worked, what worked and what didn't, and then make corrections. And I can add a second layer like I did with this one of the circles if needed, or
It's there somewhere.
it's there somewhere. This one,
Yeah.
or if needed, I can add metallic paint, to add another element, which, if I turn it to the light, sometimes it shows up,
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
it fades away because
Looks
it's
like my note.
metallic.
Yeah.
So, and I can see if I want to lift some of these squares, I then lift it out to make more of a value change between here and here. So that's the second layer. And then when I'm done with that, the third thing I do is peel off the masking fluid and then paint the birds. So I'm going to go ahead and
A
switch
lot of setup.
cameras.
Yeah, a lot of setup
It
for
is,
that.
it is.
Yeah.
And actually, before I switch, I'm going to show you, I have a pile here of some of the things that I use. So yeah, this is what I use for a water container, but I also lay it on the paper um, and use it as a stamp, or I use it as a stencil and paint circles, use it, or I might lift a circle. And I have these different sizes. This is the cap to my hairspray. Same thing.
I love the way you recycle.
Yeah. Yeah, because I keep my hairspray here in the studio so I can spray my hair so it doesn't fall on my face while I'm doing this. And so yeah, the cap's handy. These things, my house stinks. I don't know why. The previous owner had dogs, I think, and I can't get the smell out of the house. It's even though I've
Oh,
been here 15 years. So I had these air fresheners, those air fresheners, they're tubs, and these are the lids that are on them so the air comes out and stink. So yeah, these make great stencils too. Lids I pulled out of the Tupperware cabinet.
which doesn't have a bottom anymore and became a sock, right?
Well, it doesn't now. The bottom might be up there, but who knows? These are those things that I think they're for like needlepoint or whatever, but
Hmm.
they come in different sizes, different shapes. Takeout lid. This is
That's the one
from
that looks like bubble wrap.
yeah, no, this was the gutter guard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, cut pieces of that off. Oh yeah, and then there's also, just plain old templates. They work great.
Yep.
And I have no idea what this is, but this makes a great stencil. Great template.
Okay. You got me on that one too. I have no
Yeah, I have
idea.
no idea. I have no idea. I bought it in the thrift store. When I go to the thrift store, I have patterns in my head as I'm looking around. more templates.
Cool.
I don't even know what this is a template for. I have no idea.
For people who can't draw circles like me.
Okay, most of you should know what this is. These are the things that you put in your sink so that you don't break your dishes if you wash dishes.
Oh, no, I don't have that. I would have failed that test, Danny.
Yeah, you probably, okay. Yeah, well, I don't actually wash dishes either, and I don't have one in my sink, but I bought these at the store because I thought, oh, what a great pattern. And they come in all different sizes, different shapes, different patterns. So yeah, and they're great, great patterns. These are
So who
just
wants to
simply
go
round.
shopping with Annie from now on?
I know. TJ Maxx and stores like that, Ross, I go and I look at these things because they're great for patterns. And then I bring them home. And I actually in the corner of my studio over there by the sink, it's a mess because I have loads of this stuff, sink mats, bathtub mats, stencils, shelf liners, all kinds of goof Tupperware lids just thrown on the floor because I don't have a place to put them. I just haven't decided how to store this stuff yet, so it's just kind of thrown on the
Amused.
floor over there.
Nice.
So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to change cameras and start on this. Here we go. Select a camera. I think it's this one. Oh, Terry wants to know, did I state my paper type? So I'm using blocked paper because I'm going to go really, really wet. And so it's gonna buckle a lot. So the block paper helps to keep it from buckling, and it's 140 pound, but it's blocked. Um, this particular block is an old block of Stonehenge. I'm running out of the Hanamula paper. Normally I use that. And I believe this is a 140-pound cold press. You know me, I like cold press and I like rough. I particularly like rough. Now I'm going to show you, these are the objects that I'm using on this painting when I put my paint down. So I've got a mat here, sink mat. This one is squares. This, I think this, I don't know, it's just cool. It's a trivet or a hot mitt, for taking stuff out of the oven. It's silicone. Silicone really works really well, has a stamping mat for this kind of project because it kind of sticks, it's flexible, it sticks to the paper a little bit. So I'm using that. I have some of these needlepoint thingies, including some square needlepoint thingies. Oh, I have two. Sometimes I'll cut those mats up. These are kind of a circle, but they're also, I don't know, they kind of have that diamond shape as well. So I cut these up to put them around the edges. And then I have this is also a sink mat. This was an odd shape, odd pattern, and it's squares, but it's also circles. So before I get started, the first thing I do is, because I'm using a lot of water, and as you guys know, the more water you use with watercolor, the lighter it's going to dry. Water is like your white paint. The more water you use, the more the white paper is going to show, so the lighter your paint will dry. And because I'm going to use a lot of water, I need to work very dark. I need to use a lot of paint to offset the water. So I need to make sure that my paints are ready to go. So about an hour ago, I started wetting down my paints to soften them up so they'll be easy to use. So I've got them here. I've got my extra little mixing tray here in case I need to mix more. And I just grabbed an assortment of brushes. I have an assortment. I'm not using anything fancy. No Kolinsky's, no squirrels in here. Nothing expensive. These are all synthetics because I'm going to be slopping things around. I'm not, doing anything really nice with this. So I'm using synthetics. I've got my water lily and faux squirrels. I've also got some stiff brushes for scrubbing if I need to,
Hmm.
which I'll use later on the next one. Oh, another item that I've just started using. This is graphite.
Oh,
I just bought this. I've used it on a couple of paintings. So it's not very dark because, it looks black, but it's not. It's graphite. So it's going to be a dark gray when it dries. It comes in a cake. If I wet this down, it's like a sponge. It just soaks up the water. I've tried adding lots of water to it and it just soaks it up. So I find that it really doesn't pay for me to do anything with it until I'm ready to use it. But because graphite is granulating, I do like some granulation when I do these things. So I do like that. So I'm going to start with a fairly big brush. Yeah, this will work. This is a big, it's a big synthetic from Dynasty called Faux Squirrel. And it's an old brush. This is one of the first ones they sent me. Oh, before I get started, I need to figure out exactly where I'm going to place my objects because I have to kind of work fast. So I've got my three gulls. This one has three seagulls in it. And this is going to be my focal point right here. So this particular mat has squares, but it also has a circle, two circles in it, three circles, a couple of circles. So I want this circle, this is the center of those circles. So I want to kind of place that in the center of this conversation. I also want to not have my squares square with the paper. I want to offset them a little bit, turn them. So I'm going to I'm thinking there. Yeah. Yeah, here, right there. That one's going to go there. Now, a little bit up more. Yeah, right there. That's more of a sweet spot. Right there is where I'm going to put that one. And then this one I'm going to put here to offset it because this will also make a circular pattern. Why did I have this out for? Where was I going to put that? Here? Yes. That can go there. No. Maybe. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, I'm running out. Let's see. I think I need to put circles here. Nope. This takes a moment to figure out exactly where I want things to go.
Annie, why are you rejecting some of the things that you're rejecting? Just, you got a
Um,
thought process going on. It's just,
I
and,
do.
and it's inherent to you.
It is. I do want to use more than I'll have a circle going here, concentric circles, and I'll have concentric circles here, but I don't want to have two. I want to, remember the rule of three.
Right.
So I want to use at least one of these other circles. So I have a third grouping of circles going somewhere. I'm thinking up here is where I need a circle.
And it's just looking to your eye, it looks balanced.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
the, okay.
Yeah. Just looking through the eye. Maybe one there. Yeah, I might not use everything I took out.
Sorry. I have no reason why the University of Cincinnati is calling me except for wanting money.
Don't they always?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of happy with that. I have a spot there. I need one more thing. Let me go get it real fast.
Okay. So I recognize a lot of names. Is anybody here for the first time? If you are, just put yes, I am in the chat. Oh, Annie's back.
Yeah, so this is the other object that I'm using because I have a circle motive going on here. I wanted to use at least three. I didn't want to go with two. So I have one, two, three, four. But now I also have stickers. So these are, labels, Avery labels. These are those things that you use to put in your three-ring binders so that your paper didn't tear. Um, then there's those. So I don't think I'll use those little ones. They're too little, but I think I might do a couple of these. And what will happen is this will leave the white paper, which is fine for me. I will go back and paint around it. And actually, I'll put one under there as well. Because what I can do, and I did some of those stickers here, I can go back and color them in later, different colors, and they kind of look cool then. Let's do another red one right there. And this can go stickers because it's going to leave, protect that paper. So it could go on at this stage, or it could go on the next layer. And when you think about things like this, use your imagination. What have you got? You know, think of different shapes. I mean, you could cut stickers any shape you want.
Mm.
Actually, I just thought of something. You know those little craft cutters that like you cut things out of your paper, you know, those punches that
Hmm.
do the different shapes? You could use that to cut stickers and make your own shape, you know, make different shapes of stickers by like Avery labels, plain old white mailing labels, and run them through one of those punch. You make different shapes. So now I have this laid out. I am going to try, you know what I'm going to do? Take a photo. Oh my God, why didn't I think of that? Then I will know how to put it back because I always struggle with this. So I got my cell phone out.
This is why we call things the beginnings.
Yes.
It's like the most frantic time, but it's all those things you have to think about that'll make the painting really fantastic at the end.
So what I did was I just took a photo of it and I'll set that aside. And once I get the paint on, I can pull this photo up and then I can see how I have it laid out. Because what happens is, you know, I'll spend 15 minutes getting that paint on there.
Mhm.
I'll forget how this laid out and I'll be starting from scratch. That's been a problem.
That looks really cool, Annie.
Thanks. Let's hope it looks cool when I'm done.
I'm sure it will. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. So I'm just slopping some water just randomly on it just to get started. And my birds they have masking fluid on it to keep them from protected while I do this background. So remember I said that graphite? I'm going to start with some of that. Yeah, it just soaks up the water. See, it looks like it's black, but it's really not. It's really gray.
Any
Um,
particular masking fluid you recommend, Annie? Jennifer's asking.
oh, so I'm using Winsor Newton. And I'm using the tinted. It's a yellow tint. They also make one that's untinted. But the problem with the untinted is you can't see what you're doing once you get old. If you're under the age of 30, I would say go with the untinted. But once you get past that age where you can't see so well, go with tinted masking fluid. And the reason I'm using Winsor Newton is because I've always used it. So I'm just used to it. I don't know if it's better than anybody else's. It's just what I have. So now I'm just picking up random dark out of my palette. I want to go dark, light, dark values, light values. So since that's what I started doing, so that's what I have to do now. So picking up some random darks. I want it to be kind of muddy. I don't want bright colors in my background because a bright color is going to distract. Like I had some accidentally picked up some ultramarine. It was too bright, so I'm picking up some black now. Keeping it wet because I don't want it to dry out. Once it dries out, I won't be able to get that effect that I want. So I have to keep the whole thing wet. So I'm using carbon black or lamp black. I'm not too sure which black it is. It's a black watercolor. Um, Payne's gray, indigo, violet. Might pick up. Yeah, put a little bit of this. I'm just kind of splashing some in there, and it's very muddy. My paper is very muddy. My brush is muddy. Um, I'm trying to think what that color is called. Yellow, that hideous yellow. Help me out. New Gamboge,
Yeah, that's not a
because
color I paint with, so I couldn't help you.
ah, and the reason I picked that one up is because it will push and do funny things. It doesn't mix well with the other colors, pushes against them.
So it's darker and muddier than like an ochre would be?
No, no. Actually, let me pick up on a little brush and I'll show you exactly what this new gamboge does. So now I've got quite a bit on my brush. Watch this. See how
Oh,
it pushed
yeah.
and
So it's more opaque.
it gave a fern effect. Yeah, it is. It's a very opaque color and it does this fern-like thing.
Cool.
And kind of feathers and pushes. New gamboge does that. So does here I've got this green gold, and it does
Okay.
the same thing. It'll push against the other colors and won't mix with it on the paper.
Isn't it cool how some terminology goes from one technique or one medium to another? Opaque being one of them.
Yeah, yeah, yes, because that has to do with the pigment, not
Yep,
with the medium.
correct.
So I still want to go dark here around the birds. Let me pick up some more of this dark. I know this looks awful, doesn't it? But like I said, it dries so light, especially when you start putting things on top of it. Because these things that we're going to put on top of it, they're going to draw the paint to it and leave voids then. So that's why another reason why we have to go really, really dark. Something that I've just learned through trial and error doing this when I'm layering this paint on and putting these silicone things on it. I really need to go dark to make up for it, to make up for the changes in how it absorbs into the paper and how the silicone doesn't absorb it, but it pushes it. It draws it. Okay, now I can start going a little bit lighter. And it doesn't matter really what colors I want. Like I said, I don't want it to be bright. I want it to be subdued because I don't want it to distract away from the seagulls when I go in and paint the seagulls later. But I do want to have my value change, go from one side of the paper to the other. I'm going to get some more of this graphite. And I'm splashing some graphite on this paper now too. And it'll do the same thing like the new gamboge in that it'll feather out and make some interesting fern-like patterns. It also dries a lot faster than watercolor. So I have to keep an eye on it. As I see where I put it here, I have to keep misting it to keep it from drying out. Oops, I got a big old chunk of paint there. Ick.
Yeah,
All
no,
right.
this graphite seems like so much fun to splay around.
Yeah, it is. I thought it would be more granulating. It's not as granulating as I thought, but I am having fun with it. It is different. This needs to be darker up here. This needs to be darker. Now, let's see. splash some colors in it. Almost. I also have on my palette some opaque colors, and we've talked about the opaques. A lot of times, a lot of people think, oh, watercolor's got to be transparent. But some of these are my Holbein colors. I have lavender, verditer, horizon blue, manganese, cerulean. These colors from Holbein all have titanium white pre-mixed in them. So, I mean, you could take violet and mix titanium white with it to make this lavender color. But I like to splash it. See how that really shows up? Because it's an opaque color. It stays on top like so. It doesn't mix. It kind of does that ferny looking thing. I think this one is verditer. Kind of a turquoise with titanium white. Okay. Now I need to stop because there is a window. You have to do this before it dries. And I'm going to turn my phone back on. Look at that photo. Ah, there it is. Okay. So this goes here. Yeah. Okay, putting that one there. This was down here. I guess this was further. No. Here. There we go. Yes, it's working. You don't want them to overlap because if they overlap, they're not going to make contact. And then this one was right here. This way. All right, next. Then, like I say, I have another laptop sitting over there at the table. Each of these items, because they're different heights, I can't, if I'm working with all the same heights, I lay a sheet of plexi on it and then weigh it all down. But these are different thicknesses. So that's not going to work. So I need to, these will get soda cans on top of them. This will get my laptop on top of it. This will get a book. So if you guys can converse while I move this to the side table, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okie doke. So anybody have any questions for Annie so far? Any questions about life? No, I'm kidding. You know what they say? So what's the meaning of, no, what was it? The meaning of life is different. That was Monty Python. Oh shoot. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and the answer is 42.
42.
42. That was the answer to what's the meaning of life, I guess it is, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the
What is the
Galaxy.
answer? Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, if you didn't want to use a block, I'm assuming she's using a block, so maybe the paint stays wet longer. So if
Yeah.
you didn't want to use a block, because it seemed like she could go a long time without it with it staying wet. You didn't use a block and you put your paper down. Should you wet both sides of the paper before you put it down so it would stay wet longer?
Gosh, no. So,
No.
Terry, is
Okay.
that you? It sounds like your voice. I'm thinking if you wet both sides of the paper, you can't tape it down. So
Okay.
I would say tape it down to a really good board, tape it down really good and then
Okay.
do it.
Okay, thanks.
I'm almost done. I need a few more objects, few more. Good thing I have a fridge.
You put it in the refrigerator?
No, the fridge
Oh.
is full of cans of soda,
Oh. Okay.
and the soda makes good weights. Couple of more, yeah.
Jennifer says that she loves Annie's pigeon watercolors. She's calling them pigeons, Annie, not seagulls. Does she recommend being recognized for a particular speciality of images? It's
Are
okay, Jennifer, no
you
worries.
making fun of my seagulls?
I'm sorry. She calls your seagulls pigeons, and then she said, sorry, seagulls. But she was talking about, do you recommend being recognized for a particular speciality of images?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, her
And
koi paintings are awesome.
so yeah, they
Yvonne, very
do.
much so, yeah. Yvonne said your koi paintings.
Oh, hi Yvonne.
And maybe we can do a feature of Annie's koi or the seagulls.
That would be great if Annie's up to it. We'll talk with her offline for that.
We'll have to talk
Yeah,
about that, yes.
yeah,
So, okay, now I can put my phone away because that one, like I said, that painting has to dry overnight. And so this is another one. This one, the first stage is done. Um, you can see I used one of those hot pads. It had a different shape.
yeah.
This was also a hot pad trivet. It had a honeycomb shape. I used this one again. Some of those sink mats gave this bubble wrap look. And those embroidery or needlepoint thingies,
Mm-hmm.
a nice look too. And stickers. Some of them I've already peeled off. Sometimes they're hard to get off. Yeah, some of them left white paper and some of them looks like the paint went through it. Look at that one.
Oh, so Yvonne said hello back and then said fabulous koi. I've seen her paint them on plein air at Winterthur. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Yvonne's my painting buddy from Winterthur.
Ah,
We
cool.
the two of us are usually invited to paint when they have an event. We're part of the entertainment.
Nice. I keep telling Annie she needs to come down to the Biltmore and look at the lily pond um, that they have here. They have a bunch of koi in it. Some of these things they're huge. So
Yeah, they get big. So here you can see I did the background. This was the first layer. It dried. I peeled off all my little dots. Now I have to decide, do I want to do anything else? Do I need to make something darker or something lighter? These are much too white. I mean, I do need to make them um, something, but I can pick up a color and just very easily change that easy. And I can easily make them, so that's just a flat blue dot. One thing I find that I'm kind of liking is I can make it a sphere instead of a dot, shading one edge of it. So I can do that and then make them different colors as well. This one can be red. I can also decide at this point, do I want to try and stencil anything onto it? Here's one of these things. If I were to make, do I want to make something darker? And yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, I do. I'm thinking here, should I make this darker? Should I make this area darker? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, this whole corner.
one thing I learned as an artist, Annie, is I never answer another artist's question like that.
I need all the help I can get. It doesn't bother me if somebody answers me because I need help.
You know,
Always.
the circle on the left, on my left, your left, if you're facing the, yes. Doesn't that look like a water ringlet? You know, like you drop a pebble in the water and the water. That's what it looks like to me. I like it. I like the effect.
Oh, this, you
Yeah, the
mean?
whole thing, like a ripples
Yes.
in a,
Well, that's that same trivet that I used on the last one.
ah, okay.
think that was a yellow trivet. Yes.
It looks like
I'm
ripples.
finding these things. It's amazing what you can find if you just have that in your head that you're looking for patterns. So I had that thing. Atomizer, is that the right word? Help me out, guys.
You're on your own from me. I don't have
Okay.
no idea.
And I mixed up. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I only used it once, and it's it goes everywhere. You know what? I'm not only going to use it if the spray bottle doesn't work because that thing was messy.
Is that the one that you blow through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was messy. So I'll try the spray bottle first and see if see if it clogs up or not.
So you have what, really watered down watercolor in there, or
Yes, I
okay.
mixed up some dark and hopefully it's not too thick. If it's too thick. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Perfect, I think. Aha! Yes, that helped. That darkened that area. Where can I set that where I won't get paint all over everything? I know, I'm gonna set it right on the floor so I'll step on it and drag paint all over the floor. Yeah.
Welcome to my life.
Not that one. We'll do some here too. As long as my spray bottle is working. Perfect. Much better. So that helped. That darkened those areas. Yeah, Penny says it makes a big difference. Thank you, Penny. That's what I was worried about. It was too
Constant.
yeah, that's the word, constant. Thank you. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was all the same going across. So this is darkening it. And it didn't block up my bottle yet. I might regret this. Uh-oh, there it goes. It's blocking. Come on, there you go.
So if you do regret it, can you just wait till it dries and come back with something lighter, or is it done? You have to start
No,
from the
yeah, I
beginning.
could. I could use these opaques that I got, these Holbeins, and I could come back and do a lighter. It's a good idea. Why don't I do a light one now? Oh, because I didn't mix up a light one. I would have to mix up a light one and put it in the spray bottle. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm immediately taking this out so I don't ruin it and dropping it in my water. So see if it'll unclog itself so I don't waste it. I'm putting a regular lid on that. I'm happy with that. I think that really helped.
What color was in your spray bottle, Jennifer wants to know.
I mixed up my darks. I used indigo and violet. And I think it was cobalt violet, but I'm not 100% sure which. I know the label said violet on it. It's a nice dark. So it's mostly the violet. It looks like the violet was actually dominant over the indigo. Now, if I want to lighten this in comparison, I might take something that's clean. I think it's kind of dirty now. I'll take this as clean. This is clean and it's over here. So I'll take that one and I'll take something stiff and do a little bit of a scrubbing on it. That one's too big. Don't want to use one of those nice ones. Yeah, that'll work. That's fairly stiff. Oh, and one of the things, you get really full of paint when you do this. So if you're like me and your laundry room is anywhere near your studio, this is a tip you really need to pay attention to. Print out a sign to hang over your wash and dryer that says wash hands and tape it to the wall over your wash and dryer so that you don't go from this hear the dryer buzz, and then go open the dryer door and stick your hands in it. I'm serious. It's very
I know.
important.
I'm laughing because it would be something I would do. So
Yes. Yes. So I've learned that the easy way to get around that is to tape up a sign that says wash hands on the wall over my dryer.
so Annie, you need to name this one. I got an eye on you.
I got an eye
I
on you.
got my eyes on you. Yeah, because to the
Oh, I
right
got,
where your dark circles, big circles are,
yep.
it's an eye peering through. See it? Yep,
I
right there.
see it. You're
Yep.
right. Oh my God. You're right. Okay. I got my eye on you. Excellent. Although when I post it on Facebook, I will ask everybody for a title because
Yeah, I know.
some of them come up. Oh my God, who came up with that really brilliant title last week? It was something just stupidly brilliant.
Those
I
noisy
forget what painting
neighbors?
it
Was
was.
that the noisy neighbor? Oh, okay. On your painting class, I don't know. I remember somebody.
It was the painting I just posted of the people on the beach having a conversation,
Mm,
and next to them was a
the
group of
gossip,
seagulls.
gossip something,
Yeah, it
gossip.
was a group of seagulls, and somebody said, and I asked for titles, and somebody said, "Birds of a feather." Duh!
Oh, okay. It was birds
Why
of a
didn't I
feather.
think of that? Because that was exactly the effect I was trying to get was, here's two semi-related things going on. Two groups, a group of people and a group of birds on the beach separately, but doing the same thing, conversing together.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is now was I just scrubbed out in these circles, and now I'm lifting to see if I can lift any of it. And I lifted some. But I will probably do this. This is a little bit more tedious scrubbing it out because some of the colors are easier to scrub than others. Some are more staining than others and scrub easier. So I'm using a stiff brush to scrub and blot
Okay.
to get those light circles to counterbalance it because I went and made this side darker. Now I want to make this side even lighter. But
Okay. So we got two comments. Well, one question from
okay,
Penny.
I
Have you
paint.
ever have you ever tried watercolor ground for the white?
You mean painting over with watercolor ground?
She's shaking her head yes.
Yeah. Yes, I have. I have Daniel Smith gave me some watercolor ground, and I think Holbein also gave me some. I think I have some from Holbein as well. And I have, but not for this. That's a good question. Why don't I do it for this? I don't know.
Okay. And
I
then we
don't know.
have someone asking, what is watercolor ground?
Ah, watercolor ground is like a gesso, except you can paint over it. It's got a little bit of fiber in it. It's like a gesso that's a little bit abrasive. It's got a little bit of fiber and a little bit of texture to it. It's not,
Penny's holding it up. If you can see Penny.
yeah, Penny's holding it up. Oh, perfect. Yeah, she's got the Daniel Smith watercolor ground. Yeah, so you can paint over watercolor ground. So yeah, I hadn't thought of that, Penny. I hadn't used that stuff in years. I got a couple of tubs of it. I do sometimes use this is a white jelly pen, jelly roll gel pen. And I do use this sometimes to put like details. Like if I want to, after I get done painting everything, I'll use my gel pen to put the little white reflective spots in the eyes and to maybe outline a few feathers and add a few more white highlights. But I hadn't thought of the watercolor ground. That's a good point.
Penny
Now,
says she uses it all the time for white and for texture.
oh, good point, because it does build up texture. Excellent point, Penny. Thank you.
And Jennifer says your backgrounds are amazing. So amazing. I feel like I don't spend enough time on backgrounds and too much time on the main images.
And yeah. So I will actually spend more time than this on this background because I will make a lot of different shapes. I will use different templates to and I'll use maybe something that big.
Wow.
pull out a bigger circle
Hmm.
and vary the sizes a little bit. Do one right there. Much better.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that works much better by varying the sizes because now I have some repeat sizes. Okay, I'll probably do 2 or 3 more circles, but that's all I need to show you on this one.
Okay.
That was fun. But now do you guys see why I didn't try and do this as a paint along? Because it's just no way you can do it all at once. And then this is one that I did finish. So at this point, I'm ready to peel off and paint that bird in. You can see the granulation of the graphite on this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You can see where I lifted some circles, lifted some here. I put my original thingy down. What do you call it? The thingy, the matte thingy. And it was one of those that had that funny pattern to it.
Yeah.
And I lifted out circles later because again, I had all the same value across and I needed to liven it up. So I went lighter circles here. Here, I put in some darker circles by putting things down and then painting circles around them. And I also lifted a few as well. So, but you can see how that pattern really pops that silicone sink matte.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is at the point where I'm ready to go and paint. But I'm also at the point where I'm ready to turn this over to you, Linda, or Candice.
We're actually going to go to Candice. Thank you, Annie. That was really interesting. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. So,
And I'll put those things on when I finish them up, which won't be long now because I do spend more time on the background than I do painting the bird. This was 3 days painting that background. That simple background was 3 days. The bird will only be a couple of hours.
Penny,
So,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Were you answering Annie? Because she has yes, comma, then you. What were you? I'm sorry, Penny. You can unmute yourself, sweetie. Oh, just thank you. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Penny. So yeah, I do spend a lot of time on the backgrounds, but that makes the difference. I'm hoping it makes a difference between getting into a show and getting rejected because anybody can paint a seagull. You've all seen me paint those seagulls. They're super, super easy.
Yeah.
But it's what do you do that other people can't do or haven't thought of doing? What do you do to that seagull or anything? What do you do to that landscape to make it different? If you're a landscape painter, are you bringing in new colors? Are you bringing in new textures? What are you going to do to make your landscape different from the person who is standing right next to you painting the same scene?
Yep.
It can't just be better because there's a million people better than you and me.
There's a
Well,
lot
not
of
a
us
million,
out there.
but thousands.
Yeah, there are a lot of us out here. One was, I guess it was 10 years ago, I saw a trade survey, and there was like 1.4 million artists just in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was 10 years ago. So imagine how many more artists there are out there now.
Yeah, and they're all entering the same shows as me. They're all trying to compete against me. Damn it.
Now you know why I don't compete with only myself, basically. So, and that could be enough. Okay, so thanks, Annie. Appreciate it. So
Thank
what we're
you.
going to do next, guys, is hang around. I'm going to have Candice talk to us about Red Willow Art, and then I'm going to talk to you about how an oil painter starts their painting. So I'm going to go through and show you one of my finished works and how I started it from basically photographs and me sitting out looking at a sunset. So it'll be a sunset painting that we'll be talking about. So I know Candice from, oh gosh, my days when I was being mentored by Kevin McPherson, and Kevin and I started a program called Artist Mentors Online, and Candice was one of our proteges. And Candice got in touch with me, gosh, I guess it's been about 6 months ago, maybe 4 to 6 months ago, and asked me to join her on this project that we're calling Red Willow Art. So, Candice, go ahead and spotlight yourself and start your presentation. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Linda, and thank you, Annie, for the wonderful demonstration. I learned a lot about the background. I've been painting watercolor for a while, never thought about it could be fun using so much different materials to make it different. So thank you so much. And hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be able to partner with Linda and Annie today in the show and have the opportunity to share a little bit about Red Willow Art with you. Let me introduce myself first. I'm Candice Lai and the creator of the Red Willow Art platform. I myself, as also like some of you, an artist. I paint in different mediums, or mainly in oil, watercolor, pastel. I love plein air painting and drawing. So I usually take my palettes everywhere I go in the world and record the travel journey. This is a very good way to, record memories because we never know we're going to see the same scenes again due to the climate change these days. So when Linda and I were talking about, what do we want Red Willow Art to be as a platform, we came with the mission that we wanted Red Willow Art to be more just, an online marketplace. We also wanted to be creating a bridge connecting talented artists like, some of you, and passionate, art lovers from all over the globe. So imagine like I'm gonna dive into a little bit technology and don't be alarmed. We're not using AI to do paintings, but we're adopting the technology to help people appreciate art without leaving their home. So imagine you're browsing a curated collection of stunning paintings, sculptures, photographies, or digital arts from emerging or established artists while sitting very comfortably in your living room, some of you are sipping your wine or your tea, your favorite beverage without leaving your home. And this really, giving you a seamless experience using the cutting edge technology and making art appreciation journey and art buying journey a lot more easier than going into the gallery or the museum. So it's truly enjoyable at home. So with this platform that we created it using AR technology, you can visualize how a piece of art would look like in your place in some of the market rooms, or using your phone or upload your place image. You can browse artworks without guessing, no stress, and really letting you look at it before you want to buy it as a gift for someone, or you want to purchase it, or you just wanted the artwork to see how it fits into your decor, or your new painting of the wall. So this is one of the mission of the platform, is using the cutting edge AR technology to showcase the work for people without having to actually physically go into somewhere to see it. So a very convenient. Another a mission that we wanted to do is to engage and inspire a deeper connection with the world, with the educational programs like what Linda and Annie do today. Sharing our art tips, educational about histories or anything, how to do a sculpture in the future. We'll have different types of workshops and virtual classes, that all of you can participate, or we'll expose this also worldwide to have people come from different countries, maybe doing demos, learning about the culture, how that art influenced their culture in a different country. So that is another mission that we're trying to build here. I want again to emphasize that it isn't just about the AR technology we want to build, but also about the people. And we wanted to people to be able to share their stories through their art. And through this platform, we can, really enable people to be able to get on, their arts into a show without worry about or, any of the tools that they don't know how to do. Especially, we want to build connection and showcase women and minorities because in history, a lot of the big artists are, men dominant, society or, in the arena of artistic world, it's all male. So we really wanted this platform to showcase the talented women and the minorities or, or artists that they have a chance to showcase what they can bring to the art world. So with that said, this is also a great way to connect artistic journey and discover, pieces that resonate with people. Like it was just in time Linda had we launched Linda's our series, the Blue Ridge
Blue Ridge
Mountains,
Mountains, yeah.
Blue Ridge Mountains and it came Hurricane Helene. And it was just great that she recorded, how that, mountains and the nature looks like before it got destroyed completely by Helene. And I'm going to show you, we're going to take a quick look at, in the platform. And that's the type of stories that we want to showcase from you. If any of you have stories, connected to the painting, the artwork, and that's the type of thing that we wanted to, let people resonate with the art pieces and the histories and how climate changes are impacting us or how other, technologies are impacting us and that people kind of view that and connect to our real life together. So,
Yeah, the connections, I'm sorry, Candice. The connections don't have to be like tied to any like climate change, and that can be very political, or anything like that. It can be like your own personal connection and reason why one of the reasons why I started doing the Blue Ridge series was because I had a question in my mind when I was hiking one day that, gosh, I wonder if any of my grandnieces and nephews are going to see this the same way I see it, or is it going to be this total change out there? So, and then Helene came and basically we've got over 1 million cubic feet of weight of debris that we're moving around and totaling closer to 4 or 5 million cubic yards of debris that needs to be moved out. So that's why that became that story. You may have something very personal that you want to convey, and if we can help you get that personal story out there, we'd be happy to do that. So sorry, Candice, go ahead.
no worry. Thank you, Linda, to add to that. So I'm putting the link of Red Willow Art into the chat if you want to follow along.
I think you can share, Candice.
Yeah, so I'm going to share the site with you. And so let me know.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you should be able to now.
first. I think I'm on screen 3. Let me know if you can see
There you
me.
go. Yeah, you're starting to share. There you go.
So the website, if you want to follow through along, it's redwillowart.com. So here is it's a platform, not just a site, pretty solid platform behind the scene. And what we have so far, it's you can see there are special featuring series today with the Valentine's collection. And we have the Chinese Lucky Flower series as well. And we have curated, some of the series like Kevin's special feature artist. So all his palm painting that done through the last 5, for 5 years, in the last 10 years curating it, it's exhibiting, we are featuring here. So you can visit all his paintings here. all the season, January through December. This is all is left. He sold quite a few of them. So whenever it's left over here, you can view them, or if anybody interested in getting them, it's all here. And we also showcase, Kevin talked about um, the story behind, why he painted this series and how he captured the lights and atmosphere. It's a very nice document video. Come see it. I was very, moved and impressed how dedicated he was for 10 years, or 15 years, is still working on this, promoting this. So, and sharing how that, same scene within, different seasons in 5 years across millenniums, how it looked, in the different days. So this, with that said, we'll go back to the top, and you can tell, we said that we will showcase different series, different different months. So love to have you. And this is the Chinese New Year. I also recorded this is the series. I also created a couple of videos to explain how Chinese years, the feng shui, connected to lucky flowers. You can learn a little bit if you don't know much about it. This video will show you how that feng shui and Chinese lucky things are connected with flowers. Very important to their Chinese culture. They all decorated beautifully with the house when it comes in, and this year is their January 29. So you can watch it, one in Chinese too, if you wanted to learn in Chinese. Another one is the Valentine's Day. We have a special curation, loved ones, and Kevin's February 14 paintings are done in 1998. It's here. So if anybody want to, get that special dates or interest in look at them, feel free to come in. There's a specially curated, for the Valentine's Days. And then we have the prints. Not all the originals are available, so we wanted to make the art more affordable and available for people. So there's a wide range of sizes, and price is very affordable, for people to get the art for their loved ones, or a pleasant, a gift for birthday or anniversary. So come check it out. And then thank you, Belinda, the AR guy, the AR augmented reality. So don't be afraid using it. There's like a couple minutes of videos how you can use it, to do artwork, showcase the artwork using this technology. So if you go into like, for example, Linda's editions, and if you go into any of these paintings, you can see in a sample room, view the AR in your own place, or on a phone, the projector onto your wall. And the videos right here show you exactly step by step how to do it. So if you don't know how to do it, don't be afraid, check it out. Just a couple minutes videos and you'll learn. And here is the event page that bookmark it, or sign up for the event. Subscribe, so we will let you know when will be the next event. We're planning on doing it often. So whether it's the TV chat or other demos or chat talks or a podcast, you'll find it over here. So subscribe and sign up so we can let you know when the next event comes. So a lot of blocks that Linda and Kevin's have written about the series that they did. We'll add more blocks in the coming days as well. So we are looking for artists to join. If you're interested in showcase with us, let us know. Or if you know someone else are interested in joining the platform and promoting art, globally, let us know. We're looking for any art types like paintings, any mediums, sculpture, digital arts, photographers, drawings, and any art form, just contact us. There's a contact form right here. Linda or myself will be get back into to you and talk about you joining us. So check out this website here. I'll put the on the chat as well. So bookmark it and come in and visit us. So there's some sales going on as well, and hopefully spread the word, let people know and join us into this big community. So that's all I wanted to show you. Let me know any questions here.
You can type them in the chat or unmute and ask Candice. So Candice and Red Willow Art will be the new sponsors. I know you guys probably remember Artistic Harmonies Association. We had that sponsoring these before, but we really didn't talk that much about Artistic Harmonies. But Red Willow Art is really something, and it's going to be really nice. I mean, it already is, but Candice has spent a lot of hours coding the site and making it really beautiful. So go check it out. And thank you, Candice. I appreciate you. So
Yes, all yours now.
yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I said, I'm sorry, messing with my camera because it got messed up. One of the things that I wanted to do was walk through my beginning thought process and hopefully, let me get this all set up here so I can talk. I can't click and talk at the same time. Isn't that awful? There we go. We're going to make this full screen. Okay, because you guys can see this picture that's up of Bent Creek. It's one of my favorite places to hike, but we're actually going to start here. So this painting is Sunset at the Blue Ridge Mountains off the Blue Ridge Parkway that I painted. And what I want to do is talk to you guys about my beginning process and how it ends up here. So basically what this is from, it's a very special painting. It's basically August 17th, my husband and I, this was during COVID, ended up driving all around the mountains over to the Smoky Mountains and then the national park, and then came back and we ate some, I think it was Subway subs, big spender husband. We had Subways and we watched the sun go down on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And I captured so many photographs. And what I want to do is kind of go through my process on this particular painting is, I think, 3 feet by 4 feet big. And so I wanted to capture the landscape that I saw on the parkway on that day. And it was a gorgeous sunset. And so I'm going to go to, while I'm sitting there watching this, I'm also taking photographs. So I pulled together what I would consider my panorama view of that sunset. I wanted to capture this cloud bank. I wanted to capture these pinks and blues and yellows in the sky. I wanted to capture the ridges of the mountains, and in the foreground, the little bit of wildflower that was there in the brush, and then the actual sun itself. So if you look at all of these particular photographs and then go back to the painting, you can see each of those elements in there, right? There's the sunset, that really beautiful cloud, which I'll show you another photograph in a minute. And then, the one with the ridges pointed out some of these balsams that were up there. It's close to the Black Balsam area on the parkway, so there's a lot of balsam trees there. And then some of the wildflowers that were in front. So it really gives a distance. And then, so here's the clouds. Look at the cloud there. And then if I click on this is the cloud that I wanted to capture. So I took just a photograph of that cloud. Okay. And then each of these photographs I turn into black and white so I can look at value and study the value. This is before I put a brush to the painting. Okay. I'm sitting there saying, what is it that captured, what spoke to me when I was up there on August 17th, celebrating my anniversary with my husband, watching the sunset. So, I really zoom in on these things. Like there's this little touch of yellow green here. and just how intense this yellow is here with the orange, the blues into the purple. And so I would just sit there and study that for the longest time. And then I took a picture right into the sun. And I love this photograph because it brings simplicity into it, right? So before we're sort of talking about all these complex things, the ridges, the wild flowers, the values, this cloud that, would dominate. I mean, I could make a painting alone out of just this cloud, right? It's gorgeous. So, but with this particular painting, what I got is all of the ridges, but very simplistic and basically just one color because the sun basically just reduced everything, pointing my camera into it in that area, just reduced it to these simple layers of colors, almost like a rainbow. So it reminds me that I need to be a bit more simplistic. And I paint, when I paint, I try to keep it to 4 values. Let me put the painting back up so you can see all of those 6 different photographs, how I melded them together and how I really studied how the light was happening and what was, happening with the color, and tried to make it somewhat simplistic, but also try to give you paths where you can pick up and see the different directions into the painting. So how you read the painting, if you will. Okay, so that was one that, is, like I said, complete, hanging on my wall, looks perfect. I love it. I'll never sell it. And I was going to show, let's see if I can find the Bent Creek one. Da, 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 da. Is it this guy? Yeah, so we started out with this particular one. This is the Bent Creek painting. This is the Bent Creek area, actually. This is one of my favorite areas in the Blue Ridge. And I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly, but in the blog out on redwillowart.com, it shows, I think we have the blog up with that. It shows what happened to this particular area after Helene came through. I can't even get to this area now. There are so many trees down, and I can't climb over or under these trees. It's just like one piled up on top of another. I walked down a little further down the road to see if I could see if I got past that first bunch of trees, if I'd be able to get to this particular area. I can't get to it. It's part of this shut-in trail. George Vanderbilt, who built the Biltmore Chateau here, this was the path that he took to get to his summer residence up on Mount Pisgah. And it's changed forever. It will not look like this again. And from here, I painted 2 particular paintings. This one's been published in Art Astonish magazine. This is that same area. And you can see the creek here, Bent Creek is what it's called. And then just a little bit of the color hanging on, the rhododendrons here. So from this photograph, whoops, sorry, wrong photograph. It's still the wrong photograph. Where'd it go? It went away again. Let me open. Oh, it's down here. Here we go. There we are. So from this photograph came this painting. Okay. So then earlier in the fall, this is that same area. That's how lush that area looked earlier in the fall. This is probably like late September, no, mid-September, probably about. And the creek was a lot full, more water in it. Very kind of impressionistic painting that I did. And I have, my hope is that I have photographs somewhere that shows this in the winter and in the summer, in spring area time frame, so that I can capture that in all season as part of my series that I'm doing. So then let's come down here, oh, I did want to show you this too. And I talked about going and simplifying things to 4 values. This is that painting from the sunset. And you can see just basically the 4 to 5 values that this color painting has in it. Very simple value changes and very, very few values. Um, so another area that is gorgeous is around Linville Falls. This is right outside of Linville Caverns. So you can go into the cavern, the bats kind of hang out in there, and you can see the different, it's like, what's the place in Kentucky that has the caverns that you can walk through? I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like that. It's got a little cavern that you can walk through that they have guided tours with. And outside this particular area, they have this beautiful creek that comes down from Linville Gorge and into the rivers down there. And the one thing about this particular area is there's a lot of waterfalls. Transylvania County, which is the county just south of me, boasts that it has over 100 waterfalls. So a lot of waterfall captures and paintings that I can be doing. So this is one that I'm currently working on. And I really, when I start to look at this painting, I start with a canvas that is divided into thirds. Okay, so I use the rule of thirds. And then in each of the 9 blocks on the I look at what exactly I want in that particular area. Okay. And then what is my star? Well, naturally, everybody's eyes go to the girl here, right? So that'll probably be my star, but I don't want people stopping here and losing interest. So back here, which I don't know if you can see the little hand here. So back in the back here is a nice dark area here. So I want the eye to travel that way. So we got her, we got this nice rock here. We got this tree limb that kind of leads us up a little bit. This guy leads us back down. Here's a dark area here to capture my eye. And just the other day, I noticed this nice little waterfall in here. So very, very small. So what I ended up doing was cropping this a little bit. One of the things I do before I actually put my palette knives on is turn the photograph into black and white so that I don't have color skewing what I'm seeing. And you can see that the lightest light ends up being right here on the person's back. She's getting more or less most direct sunlight. It's another light area here, which balances this dark area over here. So light on this side, shadow on this side. This rock is grabbing some of the light as well as here. So I got a couple different paths that I can work with. So now I'm going to stop the share there. I'm going to go and change over to my canvas area. So hang on just a second. Yep. Oh. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep, I hear you good.
Good. Okay. So this is the painting that I started. You can see one of my rule of thirds lines here, here, and there's one that's pretty much buried here. So she's my star, the dark area that I want your eye to go and travel to. And you can see I'm playing with value as I go, the different rocks, the water, bit of a waterfall here. And you can see, hopefully close enough, that you can see my drawing underneath it. So you can see how I basically took this shape of this square, for example, and cut other shapes into it. So I'm constantly asking myself, is this a pleasing shape? Is this not a pleasing shape? What attracts the eye? What doesn't attract the eye? This is the one tree timber that basically has fallen into the river. And from here, I'll finish out the black and white version of this and step back and study it for a few days and say, okay, what changes do I want to make? And I'll either do that in black and white, or I'll go ahead and start using color, start mixing up a grid. So once I get to this point, I don't use my photograph anymore. Once I grab where I want my star to be, what else I'm placing on the stage, if you will. Once I get to this point, I remove the photograph and I just basically start remembering standing in that spot from memory and what caught me, what colors were there. So I'll have a lot of green in here. So maybe I'll go to the red side of brown for the underside of all of these rocks, for example, so that I have a little bit of red to pop the green. And I'm constantly asking myself, those questions. So just a real quick demo because we're getting closer to our time. I'm going to switch back over to my desk. You guys have any questions?
Linda, your voice is a little low if you want to adjust it.
Back to my desk thing. Okay, I should be better now.
Yes.
Yeah. And let me put you back on to this camera. That shows me. Hello. So does anybody have any questions? It's kind of, I just wanted to kind of point out how I use photographs to kind of bring all my thoughts together before I actually even start painting. So, constantly asking myself, what's a really good composition? Sometimes like you have the one compositions that Edgar Payne pointed out in his book, and sometimes I'll combine them. I'll combine the S composition with a tunnel. So you start out, and this photograph is a perfect example. Let me share this one again. So this is like the perfect example of I can make this creek the S composition and then use the circle composition just around her so that she becomes a very big focal spot on there. And if you noticed the difference between what is on my canvas and this photograph is, she is very much center stage. That doesn't mean that she's in the center. It just means that the value contrast between her light here and the dark here is going to be what captures your eye the most. So it's about 8:30. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to stop sharing. Anybody have anything they want to offer? Thanks, Annie. Any questions for Annie or Candice or myself? Annie, you're muted. I didn't hear you.
Sorry, I just said y'all are very quiet.
You are. Is there anything you guys would like to see the next time we do this? So it'll probably be a couple months from now, maybe. I don't know what Annie's schedule looks like.
Oh, yeah, if I can mention, I have another demo on Sunday for Baltimore Watercolor Society. That one, if you're not a member of Baltimore Watercolor Society, you need to pay $30 membership to watch. But it's open, there's like 60 or 70 seats left. It's a 300 seat online. So there's still room to watch that. And that one is Seascapes. And I have a workshop coming up at Baltimore Watercolor Society. The Koi workshop is coming up at Baltimore Watercolor Society next month. It is sold out. However, and it's online as well. However, so there's 15 people on the waiting list. They have a class basically, and we're in negotiation now whether or not they want to do a second workshop with the waiting list. So there's 5 places on the waiting list if you want to give it a try to see if you can get in that workshop that will open up soon. And then I'm doing Delaware Watercolor Society in person, Southern Delaware, probably Lewis or Rehoboth, in April, I believe. And that one will be color theory, 3 days in person.
Oh, wow. Like the dreaded color theory, Annie. I'm impressed.
Yes. But I know everybody hates color theory. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to do color wheels and color charts. Either do I. They're boring. Nobody wants to do them, not even me. So when I do color theory, and I'm trying to think if there's anyone here who has taken Agnes and Fern, you might have been in my color theory lessons without knowing they were color theory lessons, in that we paint fun landscapes and still lifes and discuss color, but without making a color wheel. We put it into practice. We don't make the color charts. We just put it into practice.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, kind of like that. I have a lot of greens, so the red brown will pop the green better. You know, those kind
Exactly,
of, yeah.
exactly. And then we also talk about how to not use perceived color, but using interesting color instead, making color up. You know, instead of, you know, if the looking at a lovely seascape on a lovely day, why have a blue sky and blue water? Why not pink sky and pink water?
Right. Yeah, that's part of the questions I think that I ask myself when I'm looking at the photographs. It's like, gosh, it has so much green. Can I get away with going, you know, with some red purple in the shadow, or, you know, have something reflect in the water that presents something interesting, you know, so that's why I don't, you know, I use my photographs basically to get my composition and my values where I want them. And then after that, I leave the color up to what I want it to be, remembering standing in that spot, what hit me the most, that kind of things. The interesting thing that I always found is Joe McGurl. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Joe McGurl, but he is a very well-known oil painter. He does not use photographs at all. He'll take studies and then create a painting out of his studies that he paints plein air,
Yeah.
like in his studio. So he just uses his memory and whatever small 6x8 or 8x10 study that he created. Fantastic work. Yeah, so it was great to see you guys all again. We missed you guys for the long time that we had been off. We've been away, I guess, probably about 7 months, I think,
Yeah,
recovering from knee surgery and stuff. So we appreciate
that's
you
true.
guys
And then
showing
you had
up.
the storm.
Yeah, and then we had the storm, and I didn't have power or electric for 14 days. So then no water for 51 days. That was the real killer. So Candice, I think Annie and Canvas are probably tired of hearing about that. But
No, I hope it doesn't happen again to any of us. That's horrible. I know how that feel. Yeah.
yeah,
Without
yeah,
internet, it's like without life these days.
yeah. And Annie's in Union City, so she's up by San Francisco, but she's got to worry about those high winds and P&G Electric out there.
I hope the Los Angeles, fire won't blow right over here. Not
Yeah.
this
So you all are welcome. Thank you for the comments and chat. I really appreciate it. Keep your eyes out. Since you signed up for this, you'll probably get an email with the link so that you can watch and revisit in the future. And also, any upcoming events and things like that will be out on the Red Willow Art .com website, my website, Annie's website, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So we'll make sure we hit you up, but don't be afraid to get in touch with us if you have any questions or anything you want to know about any of the stuff that we presented this evening. So
Thank you.
thank you. It's good to see
So
you guys.
good.
We enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was good to
Good
see
to
you
see you,
guys
Emily.
again.